Hello everybody, welcome back. I've got a light on today. Not making a huge amount of difference, but hopefully it will make things a little bit clearer without warming this room up too much. Already 23 degrees in here, and yeah, it's supposed to be quite a warm day, so I'm trying to get this done pre-midday before Britain heats up to some kind of silly degree. The next main scenario quest thing up at the top, I'd forgotten how useful that is. Obviously it's not there for most of your playtime, but when it comes to I'm trying to avoid spoilers so I don't want to look at the patch notes, it helps to actually at least point you in the right direction, which is handy. I am indeed heading to the back room. Now this is 7.3. It is, what is the date today? 9th. It's the 9th of August. It's Saturday today. So I recorded the first bit of the patch 7.3 raid on Tuesday and felt so shitty after it. Not because the raid was bad or anything was bad, just that I felt bad because health. It's taken me until today to actually, because I wanted to do this. So I did what I could. So it's 7.3, which means that realistically, the story for Dawntrail concludes in this patch, in theory. So we've got Kid Calyx to defeat, which means I assume there will be 8 to 10 quests, one of which will be a dungeon, and somewhere in there will be a trial, which is one of the other reasons why I wanted to get this done today, because it's Saturday and it's daytime, which means that there will hopefully be people around to do it, although they will of course probably all have done it before if it's a decent trial, and people will be doing it again. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk to some people. Gossan is helping us coordinate efforts with the administration here in Alexandria. We have to work hand in hand to ensure that the people can get back to their normal lives. I worry about Galulja though. I know he's so frustrated that he couldn't do anything to stop the machines. If only there was a way to take his mind off things. I will dedicate myself first to healing magic. It will be at the time consuming process. This is, I think that's the same dialogue as previous, isn't it? Targeted tragedy. Shell wishes for a moment of your time. Shell can have many moments of my time. If you have a moment's damage, and Geode wants to take stock of the current crisis. Oblivion may be lacking the finer details in some areas, so we'd like you to lend your perspective to the conversation. Oh good. We don't have choices to make. None of which will affect the outcome in any way, shape or form, but the illusion of choice. Or something along those lines. Sorry to drag you into our meeting, but we need to get a better handle on the threats Alexandria is facing right now. Not at all. Much has happened since the state funeral, and a clearer idea of where things stand would be beneficial for us as well. In other words, it's the 3 months later recap, which I like when they do, but apparently a lot of people don't. I kind of understand why it might be frustrating. I may even have said this before. I can understand why it might be frustrating if you are doing patches back to back, or you went out of your way to watch a patch recap video or something, but not everybody does that, so, you know. Other people, of course, might say, well, we wouldn't need these if the story was more memorable. But haters gonna hate. First things first then, let's discuss the state of the machine malfunctions. Every single sector reported instances of sentries attacking citizens without provocation, and vehicles suddenly becoming unresponsive to controls. And while these malfunctions were resolved fairly quickly, they nevertheless resulted in a considerable number of injuries and deaths. Can we get this outfit? Have I asked this before? If I have asked it, none of you have replied. But you haven't heard anything about new incidents since then, right? Right. No additional reports have been logged, as far as I know. That's the good news. The bad news is I tried to... I can't speak. The bad news is Demagen can't speak. I tried to take control of the soldiers when they started hurting people, but they wouldn't listen to me, even though I had the king's authority. Once things calmed down, I was finally able to make them give up their weapons, but if it happens again, I don't know if they'll ignore me like before. The king resolves authority is about the highest there is. Who is this man that can override it with such impunity? Calix. He lived in the age of the storm surge, as I did. Backstory! That's a really compressed picture. Lest you forget, he was known for his advancements in electro technology, and it was he who established preservation for the purpose of furthering his research. The wasting disease which afflicted him, however, was said to leave him scant years left to live. He must have chosen to undergo conversion into an endless that he might continue his efforts into the present day. Oh yes, the dungeon's the Meso terminal, isn't it? I did accidentally see that when I was looking up something for the raid. That's the wrong voice. Preservation's early goals seem noble enough. Exploring treatments for Levin sickness, designing Everkeep's core system, that sort of thing. Why harm the people he was ostensibly trying to help? I do not pretend to fully understand Calix's motivations, only that he appeared incensed by what he saw as mankind's failings. He asserted that the strategy of adapting our species through generational succession was outdated. That evolution now requires us to forsake bodies of flesh in favour of eternal preservation. We've already seen how he's employed the simulant to convince Alexandrians that endless conversion is their only hope for survival. Eternal life is assured for the 5,000 who register their neo-regulators. But this is merely one part of Calix's greater plan. He wants the key to interdimensional fusion. With that relic in his possession, he will draw ether from the reflections and expand his efforts to create endless 1,000-fold. Oh, I've changed the hair, by the way. If we mean to follow Calix's schemes, then our only option is to determine where he's hiding and put him down. Which, unfortunately, is easier said than done. I've been scouring the terminal we found in the depths of Everkeep, but I failed to uncover even the slightest trace of his activities. Give me a little more time, though, and I'm sure I can sniff him out. I'll help you. While Gloodlejar and Shale are working on that, I think I'm going to take a look around town. I want to make sure no new problems have cropped up, as well as search for any information that might lead us to Calix. You're welcome to come along. Another malfunction could happen at any time. I'd be glad to have some brawlers at my back. I am not just a brawler. Count me in. Raha and the others are helping Oblivion patrol the other levels of the keep, so shall we stick to the streets of Solution 9? You mean the ones that they've actually modelled for us to walk around? That is like a plan. Thanks, you two. I appreciate the company. I have to speak with the city's administrators about bringing in the Lands Guard. I want our soldiers around to protect those who have moved into Tuliolon. Alphino and Alzay will be joining me for the meeting, so the three of us can cover the sector as soon as we're done. What are you doing, Sphene? If I may, I'd like to join Demagen's group, if you'll have me. Nod. More mouths to ask questions, the merrier, as long as you're aware of the dangers. Thank you. I'll do my best not to be a burden. I'm more worried about you, Geode. Don't do anything stupid. Fair. You'll change your tune once we get back with the goods on Calix. Then the drinks are on you. Come on, let's continue this outside. I feel like I'm blending into the background in this t-shirt. Possibly not the best choices. Never mind. Good luck with your patrol and take your time. We can do without Geode until you're done with the old sot. Just when I think I've internalised better manners, talking with Geode brings back all the old bad habits. Okay. Woo! Bum, 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 bum. Sven's got her hood up. I will do my utmost to ensure the happiness of Alexandria and its people. Good for you. The city looks as though it's regained the sense of normalcy. Alas, the people will not soon forget recent events. That be how it is. I was expecting him to start saying something and he did not. I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started? Are you alright? Me? I'm well enough, given the circumstances. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death. And so they were, for the longest time. Then, the moment mortality once again becomes an unavoidable fact of life, they're greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternative serious consideration. Indeed, I do not blame them for that. It's only natural that such thoughts should come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calix wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. Almost like a politician. No one, not Calix nor anyone else, should dictate how we cope with the spectre of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices for this country's future back into the hands of its citizens. Do you think we can handle that responsibility, after everything you've seen of us? It is what I've seen that has convinced me you can. I awoke 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it so. You all deserve to be happy. Well then. We'd best not let you down. Now, I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle might find us. I believe someone came prepared for just such an eventuality. She got a book! Is that the grimoire you retrieved from the old castle? Yes, my parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in the arcane arts, so I lay claim to some small measure of skill. In that case, it might be better if we split into 2 groups after all. It would certainly be more efficient for information gathering. I guess that makes sense. 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone then. Damage and I will take the east. But what if we need somebody who can fight? Very well. We shall end our patrol in the plaza just past True View and await you there. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this new hairstyle. I quite like it. It looks quite good with some of the glamours that I've got. Mostly the Dark Knight one, actually. I think it looks quite cool as the Dark Knight. But I think it's more to do with the colour and the fact that it doesn't clip with the normal hair that I have. It doesn't look quite as good with this. But, yeah. Geode. Let's do the rounds then. We'll see what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or overly excited. Hopefully, that'll learn us a tidbit or two we didn't know before. What escorting entails? Okay, we've had a few of those pop up. A somber citizen? I shall talk to the somber citizen in a moment. Geode. Ah, the memories. I used to drink around here all the time. I made sure not to overdo it when I'd work the next day, but once we were past the busy season, or when the ladies weren't amenable to my company, well, you had to scrape me off the street outside in the morning. Or afternoon. The worst I ever got was on what should have been the worst day of my life. Only I could remember it. I was still wearing a regulator back then. It was also the day I first met Shale, though I guarantee she's forgotten it completely. No, she has not. Other sentries and airwheelers safe to be around now. I just know it's going to happen again. Maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in a horrible accident. I need a neo-regulator. Recruiting Endless is the only way, even Queen's Fiend said so. A grieving citizen. You want to hear my story? While I appreciate you offering a sympathetic ear, there's not much to tell. If you must know, a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His airwheeler dropped right out of the sky and he didn't survive the crash. Damn fool wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he'd never bothered with one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday, and I thought I understood what that meant. Until it happened. Yeah, it's not so much the dying as the leaving people behind, isn't it? Yeah, it's an interesting parallel between this and the Endwalker and Shadowbringers storylines. You know, that was all about bringing people back to life and not being able to cope with the fact that what you had is gone. And this is kind of similar, but also kind of flipped. You know, this is about, rather than bringing people back, it's about keeping people alive in the first place. You know, the fact of Meteon was that her despair is because she couldn't deal with despair. She couldn't deal with everybody out there being just gone and obliterated. And there's that similar parallel here, that the people are struggling to come to terms with the fact that people die and that people are gone, and yet it's still slightly different. I can understand why people have criticised this story. You know, I whilst I have most things muted, I have picked up on the general vibe that people think that it's just a retread of Endwalker and Shadowbringers, and it's not really. You know, if you look at it objectively, there are parallels, there are similarities, but it's not the same story. Is it too close? In my opinion, no. It's not that it's a brand new story, although Dawntrail was kind of supposed to be that in a way. It is a continuation of the themes. It's diving into those details, those ideas more. And if you didn't like those in Shadowbringers and Endwalker, then a third expansion of them, I get why people might be dissatisfied with. I don't agree. I like them. I find it fascinating the way different people and different stories deal with the concepts. So for me, it's absolutely fine. But I get why other people might be kind of, oh, I want something different now. You know, if this was supposed to be the vacation expansion, clearly it's not much of a vacation. Though I suppose they only advertised 7.0 as being, yeah, it's the Warrior of Light's day off. Clearly we were going to get embroiled in something. I'm just intrigued as to where they're going to take it. This is what I always get in the X.3 patches. It's how are they going to wrap out the story and make it satisfying, and how are they going to set us up for furthering adventures with greater stakes. I've spoken before, and I appreciate I'm going off on a tangent as I often do, about the need for narrative stakes that don't just boil down to what can the Warrior of Light hit. Because we've got to a stage where we have defeated the embodiment of despair, a literal deity. Where do we go from there in terms of greater threats and power progression? It's the idea of a Mary Sue. You know, there were people saying, oh, Wukelamat's a Mary Sue. It's like, no. No, she's not. She's incredibly fallible, but enough hatred was thrown the developers' way that I think they've written her out of the story pretty much, which I think is a shame. Sometimes you have to deal with characters that you don't like. Maybe you're not supposed to like them. So yeah, I kind of want to know where they are going to go with this, because in terms of stakes, what do you thrust upon the Warrior of Light? I like the idea of them having to take more of a mentorship position for this expansion, because what do you throw at us? Is there a tier above gods? It's like it's the issue that World of Warcraft had for the longest time, where they just had the power, scope, and creep getting higher and higher and higher to the extent that it became absurdist, and the stories were rightfully critical. It's one of the reasons why they got Chris Metzen back, because they needed to find a way of grounding the story. Again, I don't know how successful that's been. I know nothing about World of Warcraft since... Was it Shadowlands? I think it was Shadowlands. Was that the one where you went to the afterlife? I don't know. So anyway, my point, because I have one. 7.3, just like the 0.3 patches in the other expansions, is wrapping up the story of Dawntrail and setting us up for, hopefully, with a clearer line in terms of where the story is going. Because if there's one thing that 6.45 and 5.5 did, all the stuff with Zero, it didn't really set us up for a story moving forwards. And I've spoken too much, which I knew I shouldn't do, and I've done it anyway. Let's continue. Why has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I've just registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing but memories at first, but now that I've gone through with the registration, I've never felt more at ease. Also, once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. So if you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friends. If there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. Demagen, a word. I feel like there was a new factor in these stories we've heard, one we hadn't considered during our discussion with everyone in the back room. People are still deathly afraid. Fights are likely to break out over the neo-regulators. The victim of the violence wasn't wearing a regulator. Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we'd normally think about. The supply of souls cut off, though. More and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the causalities from the casualties, even, from the recent attacks, and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. So let's go around on the street over to the east. It's pretty chaotic at the time, but maybe we'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. Yes, if they are attacking, or if the violence was caused by... Why did that just stop me? Interesting. Does it just stop you when you get a certain distance into one of the conversation zones? Let's see if it does it in this one, or if that one's bugged. Doubt it. No, it stops you in them. Okay. It was once my job to deliver goods by other cargo. That's why I know a fair number of names and faces throughout the city. The little ones who jumped for joy when I brought them packages. The old lady would always greet me with a smile. Late for anything bad to happen to them. Okay. As you can see, I have not done the 7.2 8-man raid in the slightest. It's a shame actually, because I think I did take a look at the gear and I liked the gear more than I did for the 7.0 stuff. I like there's a little mouth earpiece thing, isn't there? Which I quite like. Hello, how are you today? Please let me know if I can be of service. Citywide casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing reports from all affected zones. Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone then? You must have some estimates on hand. Recalibrating parameters. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualties equipped with regulators, 0. Interesting. So it was targeted to spread panic because the people would notice, the people would know that their friends and so on and so forth weren't wearing regulators and they're being targeted, and that's going to spread fear. It's going to get more people joined up, which is it's going to rile up the population. You wish to know if people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators? Sorry, but I was assigned to clearing away debris. I didn't see any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers had already done their work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite sure to clean up, but nothing else worthy of mention. Patches of white dust? Imogen, I think it's time we rejoin Kryler's Fiend. I was half joking while we were supposed to share, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Kryler say to meet them in the plaza just outside the review? Get going. Piles of white dust. So, were they targeting... Were the piles of white dust actual regulators which were destroyed and or overloaded? Intriguing. We finished our patrol as well. Did it not seem that more people wanted near regulators than before? Yeah. Which I suspect is the point. So essentially you're saying that the people who were killed by malfunctioning machines weren't wearing regulators? Ooh, ow, click. Well, the numbers are still tentative and only apply to that one zone, but we don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data, but this is definitely more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who'd removed their regulator was a priority target. Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. But why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Well, if they've already made the decision not to wear regulators, then Calyx isn't going to give two hoots about them, because he can't manipulate them, but he can manipulate other people into thinking, oh well, if it's people without regulators that are being targeted, then I want to get a regulator. Based solely on the lack of a neo-regulator, we cannot judge if a person has no desire to become endless, or if they simply failed to acquire one of the limited devices. For those who wear no regulator at all, they've clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put another way, they've chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability, so they're not useful to him. The chances that such resolute people would wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen those least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic. It's not exactly complicated storytelling, but yeah, it's fine in terms of an emotive incentive. There was no need to kill anyone. With the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. He could have found 5,000 willing citizens without all this madness. Yeah, so he wants panic more. You make a good point. Perhaps this sowing of terror is in service to another scheme. Or he had some other need for the lives he's taken. Does he need their ether? Yeah, what of the dust? Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies, but mentioned piles of white dust. Dust, but no bodies. Now, where have I heard that before? No, I don't remember that. Do you recall when we went to save Erenville from the sentries in the outskirts? That Usher Malachite told us much the same thing. I don't remember that. When I arrived, I found no body. Only a pile of dust, which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it. Is that what happens when somebody's completely drained of ether? Their body disintegrates into dust on the wind. Both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but the shared mention of this dust is too much to ignore. In that case, we should confirm if this substance was present at other sites and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calix's murderous actions. Hello? This is Demagen. Demagen, we need your help. I've lost control over the soldiers in the residential area. They might be trying to hurt people again. The living members are on the way now, but are you close enough to join them? Forward/not. Damn it. Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go. Is Sphene going to be a scholar, then? Because you kind of think of Garnet as a white mage, don't you? Oof. Soldier on soldier? Oh. Oh, a special effect? Oh. Oh, that's creepy.
Stay back. Stay away from me.
Run away.
Leave him alone.
Dong dong. We got some motion capture in this. That was nicely done, actually. That was quite creepy. Budget well spent. Oh.
Are you all right?
What happened here?
Oh, we've got voice acting.
My apartment, even though I'd locked the door and everything. I managed to run, but the man who tried to save me.
No weapons, which is to be expected, considering all the sentries were meant to be disarmed. Yet it was ordered to attack all the same, even if that meant using its bare hands.
Well, it has electrical powers, so...
I'll leave matters here to you. I'm going to do a sweep of the surrounding area.
I didn't realise he's got a little chain on his eye patch. What's that about? No regulator? No regulator.
Do you know anyone else in this sector who no longer wears a regulator?
Oh, I don't think I've seen Isadora and her boy with theirs recently.
Isadora's the one that we know, isn't it?
Go to them, quickly!
Oh. That's... Oh, it's one of the two girls that I can never remember the name of.
I'll be fine. But Isadora's in bad shape.
Time to get your heels on.
Mother,
Oh, shit.
Mother, please. Isadora. Oh, thank goodness. She wasn't struck any more than I thought.
I was holding my breath then.
I'm sorry. If only I'd gotten here sooner. Everything will be all right. I promise to make your mother better. Thank you, miss.
Oh, yeah, because she'd hidden it from him previously, hadn't she? That's the first time they've been that. The parallels between Milo being the kid on the bed when we first saw it, now reversing over to the mom.
Will she sleep like that forever? No, not forever. She'll wake soon. I'm sure of it.
And again, that's a parallel, isn't it? Because Milo was stricken with the Levin sickness, so he was just constantly locked.
That's good to hear. Thank you for saving her.
Oh. Fade to Black, The Promise of Tomorrow. I'm assuming that's the patch name. I don't know. Because I don't use the official launcher. So I didn't know the patch name. The Promise of Tomorrow. That's very much a 0.3x name, isn't it? It's like, and now we're looking forwards to the future. Oh, we got the mystery music. She should recover in due course. I'm glad we arrived when we did. You could. No, I was going to say you could have given collision to that, but actually that would probably have messed things up. Oop. When I was sick and couldn't move, my mother was always at my side, was keeping me company, and I'm going to do the same for her. You're a good kid, Milos. I'm glad Alize got him cured. Forgive me, I was reckless. You shouldn't have had to waste time tending my wounds as well. Did you see how I got the comrades back there? He stayed behind in the lobby, but I heard the sounds of fighting. Oh, I thought he was wearing that colour, and I kind of put it together in my head, but I think subconsciously I noted it, but I didn't act on the information. But yeah, he was one of them. I'm sorry, he must have fallen protecting the residents. That was 39 minutes of quest. Admittedly, I did get up on my old soapbox, and that has unfortunately meant that I'm not going to be able to go straight into recording the next one. I'm going to have to take a break. Because throat. This is the issue with FF14. I love the storytelling in so many ways that it makes me want to talk about storytelling, and some people really appreciate that, and some people think I just got on with it. But it's my thing. Yo, I'm a writer, I'm an English teacher, I've got a master's degree in creative writing. Talking about stories is what I love to do, and obviously with so many video games, I don't get to do it. And even when FF14 is at its worst in storytelling, which I'm not saying this is, by the way, I still find interesting things to talk about, and I just don't get to do it as much, especially because I've not been teaching for the last year because of this stupid thing. So just having those opportunities to wax lyrical on narratives and perspectives and parallels, and to do this, essentially, it's not something that I get to do of when I'm playing a Souls-like or mapping a Metroidvania. It's like, I need something story-based in order to do that, and I just don't play that many of them, at least not for YouTube. So I hope that I'm not going to say I bring some kind of unique perspective, because I'm sure there were people like Jesse Cox, for example, who I know talks a lot about story, and I like watching his stuff, generally quite late after he does it. He does all the voices as well, which obviously I used to do but just can't anymore. Hopefully when I get my appointment for the speech therapist, maybe that will help. But unfortunately 3 litres of water a day is not helping. So of the 2 courses of treatment I'm on for my throat, the one that I've got easy access to is not doing squats. Anyway, yes, we'll come back and we'll start the endless choice next time, because I'm going to have to go and take a break. But thank you for watching. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed my soapboxing and random thoughts, and I'll catch you all in the next bit. I'm going to record all of these before I put any of them out. So whilst it is the 9th of August today, hopefully I'll get opportunity to record some more today, but I need to take at least a 30-minute break. Getting old, folks, getting old. And I've abused my voice because I've been a teacher for 20 years. Hello, Internet. I'm back. And I've added a frame because it looks prettier. It is now 20 past 4. No, 20 to 5. Can't remember what time I finished the first session of recording, but I'd like to get another quest or 2. But if I am a little bit less animated and talky, hopefully you'll have figured out why. The endless choice. Our comrade, you think he may have been struck down? If he's wounded or worse, I should go to him. Wait, please. It isn't safe and you're still in rest. Would you stay with Milos and watch over Isadora for me? We'll tend to your friend. Thank you. Please be careful yourself. I still feel that as much as I like the quest jingle, they really should turn it on and off when the appropriate... when the mood strikes it. I'm going to have to turn this up. I'd forgotten that I'd turned it down. I turned it down just for regular play because I usually put other stuff on. Yeah, I've usually got a YouTube video or something on the second monitor. I say video, I've got YouTube playing on the second monitor. It doesn't actually play because of how FF14 just doesn't let things. You can still hear it, even if the image is just kind of... Don't know why it does that. It's something to do with the fact that my second monitor doesn't have the same frame rates. But I can't afford 240Hz monitors. That man, this is awful. Why? Why is this happening? That's what we're here to find out. Is it always going to be alright then? I'm so glad. I just finished my ministrations here. Our Oblivion comrade was beyond saving, I'm afraid. Shit. A brave soul. He gave his life to save another. Foreshadowings, Fiend? He died protecting me. I don't understand why any of this is happening. I said she was behaving normally, like any other, then all of a sudden it tried to kill me. Weapons or no, Calyx commanded them to commit murder. Is it over? We came as soon as I don't remember how to pronounce the word, a name. As soon as she sent word. I'm sorry. By the time we arrived, it was already too late. And Geo could be in trouble too. Once we have this radius locked down, we need to find him. But why? Has something happened? Possibly. We're not sure what, but he stopped responding to our communications. We need to prioritise securing the residential sector though, at least until we regain control over the sentries. Is this new music? Yeah, this is a really sinister remix of the Dawntrail theme, isn't it? I'm glad I turned the music up, or the sound up in general, because I don't think I'd have caught that otherwise. Unless this is music that's used in the Ghosty dungeon. Which is possible. But I think this might be new. Unless it's been used in a dungeon before and I've forgotten about it. Again, because I talk over stuff, I don't hear things as easily. We should search for a geode. I agree. Since most Oblivion members have sworn off regulators, if our theory holds true, they could be prime targets for the next attack. Please, do what you can to shepherd the residents to safety, but avoid the sentries at all costs. Thanks. Here, take these communicators. We've made modifications to them to prevent Calyx from intercepting the signal, and have been using them to coordinate movements with allies in the vicinity. Just put our hands down and keep it in our hand. What? Why has one too, so I'll ask her to keep hailing Geode. Good luck. Stay safe. Geode said he'd sweep the surrounding area, so we shouldn't have ventured too far. Let's get going. Yes. I think I've spoken before, and I'm going to try not to turn this into a long tangent. I've spoken before about the importance of, when introducing new characters or names, to have it presented in voiceover so that you know how it's supposed to be pronounced, because it bugs me when I don't know how things are pronounced. The problem that FF14 has is that obviously a lot of the content is spread out over 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You know, it's in 3 to 4 month blocks. So even if they do that, and I'm glad when they do, you know, in MSQ, especially in expansions, I've forgotten. And this is very much a me problem. This is not a critique of the devs or story writers or anything. But because I am a British person of reasonably low travel and extensive intellect, whenever I see names that have got, you know, that are quote unquote, how do I phrase this? I don't want to just call them foreign names, but names with structures that are unfamiliar to me, it makes it quite difficult for me to figure out, well, how am I supposed to pronounce that? Because obviously I'm very good when it comes to phonetics for British names, but these very clearly aren't British names. You know, these are Native American realistically in design, aren't they, a lot of them? Which is really cool in terms of world building and makes sense in terms of Shalona and the environments of the North-South America divide that we've got on this particular New World continent. I just can't remember how to pronounce them, and it bugs me because I kind of feel guilty that I can't remember how to pronounce them, if that makes sense. It's a me issue. You see no sign of Geode. Perhaps you should search further to the east. Ah, that warrior of light intuition. Kicky in there. Maybe we should go east. Has it ever steered us wrong? Probably. I think there might be some people down there. You see no sign of Geode. Wyaque's voice crackles forth from the communicator. Geode? Geode, answer me! There's no response. Perhaps you should continue your search further to the east. The slowly encroaching shadow. I really like the architecture Solution 9. I really wish they hadn't spoiled it for us. I wonder if... Superbox. I wonder if enough people complained. Is it a very... Did anybody care? Did other people care that the Dome and Solution 9 and all of that was revealed in the run-up to Dawntrail's release? Or is it just me that thinks actually it would have been... I think it would have been such a cool moment if none of us knew anything about it. I think it would have been so much cooler if we got... If they told us that it was all going to be a holiday expansion and we were going to North America or South America and it was going to be, you know, tribes and New World and this, that and the other. And then we were playing through the story and we got to that stage around level 95. It's like, hold on. This story seems to be winding down. And then Dome and robots and Mecha City, and it's like, would that not have been, is it just me, or would that not have been way cooler than knowing half of this stuff in advance? I get that they needed to do something to grab people's attention and hype them up, but I can't help but feel that that was the wrong way of doing it. For me. Let me know though, down in the comments. Are you of the same opinion? Because as I said at the start of the 24-man raid stuff, and as I think I probably said in the 7.2 stuff as well, I no longer watch or follow or listen to anything FF14 related until it's content that I've already done. So as much as I love Jesse Cox's videos on FF14, I only ever watch them a good month or two after I've completed everything that I know I'm going to complete in a patch. And same goes for Mione and Mr. Happy, and I basically don't watch anybody else now because there's so many FF14 content creators that are just like spoilers in the thumbnails and this, that and the other, and I don't always succeed, I must confess, but I try and make sure that my titles and my thumbnails are spoiler free. I've probably failed dozens of times, but that's my philosophy. I don't want to spoil anybody on what are the fights in the raid. You know, I loved the fact that when I got into the 24-man raid for 7.3 that I had no idea it was Sandoria. You know, that was great. I like that feeling. I like that feeling of not knowing. So when it comes to the next expansion, which is still a year away, I've made a habit of reacting to trailers and videos and live letters and patch notes and special sites. I just don't think I'm going to do any of it. Because I don't think I trust Square Enix to not spoil stuff for the story. For a game that for me is all about the story, for those big sweeping things to be spoiled in the trailers, anyway, I'm soapboxing. I'm so sorry. I feel like I was robbed of an interesting experience. You know, I enjoyed what we got, but I feel that it would have hit harder if I didn't expect it. See no side of Geo, the neighbouring residential radius would be the next logical place to look. Motion capture!
This is the only place left. Let them be safe.
Who?
Geode, are you there? Answer me, please!
I'm here. Sorry for the long silence. I've been busy.
Doing what?
Oh, you're alive! Thank the gods! Where are you now?
The radius next door. The lobby is secure. I'll scout the second floor. Then I'll join it.
Yeah, they're sucking their ether up. A special effects.
That dust.
It's people. Soylent Green is no. Spoilers.
Dust? What are you talking about? What's happening?
They're not just collecting souls. They're draining the bodies of corporeal ether.
I was right. I like the effect, the glitchy effect.
All that was left of the victims. They must have modified the soul cells.
Careful. Yeah, I like the glitchy effects. No! An old man!
Shit.
Language! Right. Oh. Combat mode activated. Geode, pay attention.
Damn you!
Bonk. Run away! This old man is incredibly...
You can't be here! You need to run, now!
Oh, shit.
A trap!
Oh, balls. Oh, well, that was clever. That explains why the old man wasn't...
Take care of the others, eh?
Oh, shit. If there are two piles of dust...
No sign of him so far. This way, maybe?
Did we? There's his gun.
Geode!
I mean, they might have killed him off. Ah, shit. Oh, that's creepy. But this could also be a ploy.
A shame. I had hoped to leave here with at least one more cell's worth of ether. But seeing how eager you are to interfere, I shall cut this foray short.
Huh.
Calyx. What could you possibly stand to gain from these atrocities?
Cool music.
Ether sufficient to generate 5,000 endless. How would you require it?
How would I?
Until I have the key, the reflections are closed to me. Thus do I make do with the sources at hand. 7% of Alexandria's current population will yield the energy to convert 5,000 into endless. With 11%, operations could continue unabated for 800 years.
That's very specific numbers.
Our bodies are fated to decay sooner or later. These ones refuse the gift of eternal life, so what difference does it make if I return them to ether now?
Wow. He just walks.
I will not waste time and resources on meaningless conflict. This unit cannot offer you worthwhile resistance. Instead, I pose a question. Would you hand over the key if I promised to halt my harvest?
Now you see, this is what I was talking about in the previous episode when I was talking about stakes. How do you challenge the Warrior of Light who has killed gods? You don't challenge them on a power level. You don't challenge them on a physical level. You challenge them on a moral level. You challenge them by positing a philosophical or moral dilemma. Exactly like this. I'm a reaper. I harvest.
It was foolish of me to even ask.
Yes. Yes, it was. But it provides stakes.
I return to my work then. There is much to do if I must take the key by force.
But therein lies the issue. With this, it's not just a case of us flippantly saying, "No, we'll defeat you anyway." There are stakes here. You know, the longer we don't hand over that key, it's not like we can physically stop him here. And we can't physically stop his plan. We can stop him because he'll just fall over at a breath. But more people are going to die the longer it takes us. And that will, or should, weigh heavy on the Warrior of Light's shoulders. The problem is that that hasn't always come through in the narrative. Obviously, in Endwalker, we had that section towards the end where we do the slow walk. And all of the voices and the memories weigh on us. I can't actually remember what the debuff we get was. But we need more of that. We need more of the consequences and ramifications of the fact that the Warrior of Light is great at solving physical conflicts, but can't be there to stop everything straight away. You know, they're not omnipotent. As Mary Sue-like as we can sometimes be, we've always got the answer. For physical stuff, the plots need to be more mental, more emotive, like this one, to actually create stakes that a player could be satisfied with. Just my take on it. Boom. Right, did they leave the canister there? So they've killed Geode and they've left his... How much of Geode is still there? Does it take the soul as well as the corporeal ether? Because that was the original intention, was just the soul, wasn't it? I mean, technically speaking, they could turn him into an Endless if they have his soul. The fact that they've actually modelled and given 3D shape. This pile of dust. These ashes. And the soul cell he left behind, was that his twisted way of returning Geode to us? Damn you, Calyx. Damn you and your careless cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified if it meant 5,000 Endless could continue their immortal lives. And if a reflection's stolen ether allowed for many more Endless, why that too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Who could think that? Not I. Certainly not I. We know only too well, there's naught noble in this sacrifice. Interesting turn of phrase from Cryo. We have to stop him. We have to find Calyx and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. I'm assuming Calyx will be the trial to wrap out the... And under no circumstances can we let the key fall into his possession. If it falls to us, we must, we will, thwart his plans here in Alexandria before we can terrorise innocents and reflections elsewhere. The endless choice. Damn it! Stop putting the happy jingle in places with big dramatic things. It just kind of sucks away some of the kind of tension and tone, realistically, that's going on there. Or Geode. Ah dear. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.